Hello everyone. Thank you for coming to the house that Peggy built. We have a very special guest. We have Jeff with KoKora, who is a naturopath and a master herbalist. Thank you very much.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you guys for coming tonight. My name is Dr. Jeffrey Burke. I am a 45-year veteran in the natural products industry and pretty much can say that I've done just about everything that you can think of. I started when I was barely 20 years old in Los Angeles. I have run stores, formulated, I have cleaned bathrooms, done inventory, and you name it, I've done most of it. So it's a wonderful field. It's continually evolving. We have hit a point right now where a lot more people are starting to come to our side of the fence, which is wonderful. And I don't know if it's I think it's probably under necessity for most people because we're exhausting a lot of the things that we have at our fingertips. You know, I was talking to someone the other day, we were talking about when I was first starting in the industry, how I was working at a store in the Westwood area near UCLA, and they were doing inventory, and it was after hours, and there was a knock at the back door, and it was a group of doctors coming to pick up their vitamins, but they came to the back door because they didn't want their colleagues to see them buying vitamins. So we've changed a lot since then. So it's been quite interesting. So I've been a traveling educator. I train, I lecture. I just ended my 42-year running radio show, industry radio show. I've been blessed to work with the most amazing people in the industry. People that have been foundational industry people for a long time, formulators, company founders, doctors, physicians, authors, all of them. And now that the radio show was over, I've started a new podcast, and I'm giving guilt to all my friends and getting them all to come on the podcast as well because I think they still have great stories to tell. So I was a representative and an educator for a larger company, and recently I became connected with a brand new company called KoKora. And KoKora is an interesting word. It is actually taken from the word KoKoro, which means heart, which means balance and sincerity and love and connection to the earth and planet and people. So it's a really wonderful word in a wonderful world. But KoKora is a really interesting line of products. If you've been in the industry for a long time, you've probably heard the name Rick Scalzo. Rick is the individual that founded a company called Gaia many, many years ago. Left that company 4 or 5 years ago and purchased an amazing piece of property down in Costa Rica, 100-acre farm down there. It was a certified regenerative organic farm, and now it is certified individually regenerative and certified organic. We just recently were blessed with our soil being rated as a gold standard soil. Wow. We are growing many, many wonderful herbs down there, and the line of products is going to be something that I think a lot of people have not experienced. Regenerative agriculture allows you to be able to have amazing crops, healthy crops with very strong potency and very, very healthy yields, which I think is very important. You know, today we have a lot of people that are learning more and more that we are at the point where we need to start doing something for our planet. And we're 35 years ago when we really started kicking off the organic movement. That was a time when everybody was starting to understand that we wanted to get fruits and vegetables and things that were more organic. Now, organic was expensive, not everybody could afford it. But the thing is, back then, when you got organic produce and fruits and vegetables, you were getting a yield that had no chemicals, no pesticides used on them or in them. So it was very, very clean. You also were, at that point in time, able to get fruits and vegetables that had a very high quality of nutritional supplementation in them. When you ate organic, you got more value nutritionally. Now, that's not exactly the case today. Many of these organic fields have not rotated. They have not put a lot of things back into their soil. They have not really dressed up their soil and protected the soil. So today there are organic produces being manufactured and grown around the country that you still don't get pesticides and chemicals and preservatives. But what you do get is a crop that healthy on the chemical side, but not really nutritionally valid. So you're not getting things that are as potent as they were before. So you may, you know, down the road see a regular fruit and vegetable field where they use pesticides, and you may get the same nutritional value that they're getting in an organic field because it's the soil. So when someone asks you the question about organic, remember that organic has to do with the crop. It has to do with what you're growing. It could be a fruit, a vegetable, or an herbal crop. Regenerative has to do with the soil. It has to do with what everything is grown in and what we are leaving on our planet for future generations. Are we preparing our soil? Are we protecting our soil? You know, new statistics show that we have about 30 to 60 years left of soil on our planet, topsoil. Our bird populations are down 50-some%. Our insect populations 40-some% down. So we're seeing some problems. Everybody wants to be cited, everybody wants to be quoted, especially in the political side, that we're doing something and need to do something, but no one's following through. So we're going to have movements that really start steering us toward regenerative. Now with regenerative agriculture, you're not tilling. You are crop rotating. You are actually doing most of it by hand. You have amazing people that work on the fields down in Costa Rica on the CR farm. We are also doing cover crops. So let's say you have turmeric growing in rows. In between, you'll have a cover crop. The cover crop kind of like protects the soil in between the crops and helps to hold moisture in the soil. So it's just really, really amazing. And we know that we need to draw carbon out of the air back down into the soil. And with regenerative agriculture, that's exactly what we do. And we're able to really make a difference in the quality of the soil. The first year that turmeric was grown down on the ranch, there was a very good yield. But after they switched over and started following regenerative agriculture, the yield was 4 or 5 times stronger and more, bigger yields, bigger quantity of yields, because you're following, you know, regenerative agricultural methods, which gave you much, much healthier, much more potent, and much stronger, you know, not just the yield, but also the quality of what you were growing was much better. So the whole idea at KoKora is to bring herbs back to people in dosages and usable and absorbable dosages that make a difference. Now, I've been in the industry a long time, and what I see today is I see a lot of people that have absolutely no patience. And I think that kind of goes hand in hand. We all want the magic wand. We all want to fix everything. We all want to lose 30 pounds by Friday. We want to feel better. You know, we don't realize that health conditions have been going on for a very long time, and what ends up, it takes time to be able to make a difference. But being able to notice that you're making a difference and feeling something along the way can be very motivating. You know, so what Rick Scalzo does in his formulations is he's going to be releasing these products that are stronger. They're front-loaded, which means there's more potency in there, which means that you will feel things faster, which will slow down your, you know, apprehension for staying with them and your impatience. Because people are going to say, you know what, I'm feeling this a lot faster than I'm used to. I'm going to stick with this and see it out. And I think that's going to make a big difference. So the first 5 products that were released with KoKora are all powdered adaptogen powders. Now these are really, really nice because a lot of people like the idea of a powder. And I've been working on recipes. We've been coming up with a whole bunch of recipes that we'll be sending to the stores. They're going to be demoing the products in the stores, which I think is going to be really wonderful. You'll be able to taste. We've been working on little bliss balls that are, you know, mixed with prunes and dates and stuff and cashews and then rolled in coconut and pecans. But these powders are amazing. I did a popcorn last week, which I thought was fun. I actually pulled out an air popper from underneath my cabinet. I wasn't even sure it would light on fire, it's so old. But I popped up a bag of popcorn, and then I took some coconut oil and some maple syrup, a little pinch of ginger and cayenne, poured it in and shook it up on the popcorn. And then I took this 7 mushroom mocha, which is 7 amazing mushrooms, but it's got a little cacao powder in there, added a little cocoa powder to it, put it in, shook it up, made chocolate mushroom popcorn. Yeah. So we can get creative, we really can. Or let's say you're someone that's just looking for something to shake in your almond milk in the morning, or you're looking for a smoothie, or you want to put it in your pudding, or your oatmeal, or, you know, a yogurt or something like that, you can. I use 3 of these powders and I put them in my yogurt in the morning with some fruit and granola and some walnuts. And I just mix it up and I do it in the morning and I'm done with it. But it's wonderful because I take a lot of capsules, you know, so this is one way of cutting things back. These are strong adaptogens. They allow you to make a difference. The Adapt and Thrive is a product for energy and for stress and for helping to give you adaptogens to help your body adapt a little bit more to stress. The immune power we all learned during the pandemic. that the immune systems, because we probably said it every single day, 10 times a day, immune system was everywhere you looked, everybody keeping immune system stronger, helping to support your immune system. We learned, and I was kind of at fault myself, because I used to talk about the immune system on my radio shows November to February, flu and cold season. And then I would go right into allergy season and weight loss season and all those kind of things, and I wouldn't talk about immunity. Well, what I learned during the pandemic is immunity doesn't see a calendar and doesn't see a season. As you saw, we had people getting sick and getting weak all the way through, different months. During it was hot, when it was cold, when it was rainy, it didn't matter. So our immune systems need to be cradled and thanked and appreciated all year long. So for people like myself, or people that are around in germ-filled environments, the immune product is going to make a difference for helping to keep you balanced and keep you a little bit more potent. We don't want to stimulate anything. We just want to give your body the tools it needs to be able to fight off the things that it should be able to fight off. So that's real important. The KoKora Lift is basically the roasted, is kind of like our version of coffee. And it's got chicory in there, so for those people that want that taste in the morning, they want that coffee taste or that coffee smell, it's really good. And you can do the same thing with that yogurt. You can put it in a French press, and you can press it down, and I've done it. I'm not a big coffee person, but I poured it over ice and made iced coffee. It was really good. I have people that add it to their coffee, you know, so you can be real versatile with this. I have a lot of stores that are now starting to ask questions about, are these the kind of things you could do like in a smoothie bar? Or can I do it at home on my own counter with smoothies? You can, because it actually is a huge booster. If you've ever got a smoothie somewhere, or you're making a smoothie, people might say add a little wheatgrass, or add a little spirulina, or add a little bit of something to your smoothie. These are amazing dosages of adaptogens. You add a teaspoon of this, you are fortifying, changing the actual benefit of a smoothie. You're turning it into a very strong, powerful nutrient, which is really amazing. And I think people do really well. We've got sample bottles here. I'm going to have people open them up in a little while and allow you to smell them, because they're very potent and very strong, and I think a lot of people do really enjoy the whole system of being able to kind of smell, because if you smell it, you can taste it, you know, so you kind of get an idea of what they're going to be like. But I think these are going to do really well. This is stage 1. Stage 2 is going to be starting in the Q1 of next year. We're going to start with our capsulated formulas, vegan capsules, glass bottles, no excipients, no binders, no fillers, no magnesium stearates, nothing. At the very bottom, the added ingredient says none. Yay. And we're able to say that, which is amazing. Because we have the certification of regenerative, we're able to say regenerative right on the label. So we're going to have 5 mushroom formulas. We're going to have 6 or 7 individual rock herbs, which is regenerative organic certified. And it'll say right on the label, they're going to be very potent. And then we're going to have 7 regenerative blends, sleep and, you know, stress and adrenal and things like that. So they're going to be amazing and very potent. I think people are going to really enjoy being able to feel a difference. I know myself, I'd love a magic wand. I really would. I'd love to be able to wave a magic wand and just make everything different and better. I mean, I wish we had those. I would open a franchise of magic wands. I mean, people would love it, but you know, it's as impatient as I tend to be myself, I also realize the reality that things take time. We didn't get where we are right now overnight. Many of us have a tendency to take our health for granted, and we push ourselves so far back on the back burner, and our jobs and our family and our friends and our kids and our pets and everything that we do all come to the front, and we get stuck on the back burner, we get lost. And all of a sudden you wake up one day and you're falling apart at the seams and you have neglected yourself. So we have to start taking better care of ourselves, even if it's just making small little movements along the way, which I think is really, really important. At the end of the year next year, we're going to have our 3rd release. This is going to be an immune line of capsules, a women's line, and a gut line. Those are all big issues: hormonal issues, digestion issues, immune issues. We're trying to tackle all of the things that people are really having a hard time, you know, kind of finding, you know, relief, because it's very confusing. You know, our industry, when I first started, we had no information. When I was getting my degrees, I had to go to the library and read research books because we had virtually no books. We didn't have computers, we didn't have smartphones, we didn't have any of that stuff. we had to use the Dewey Decimal System at the library and pull books up, and if you didn't get there early enough to get a research book, you didn't get one, because you couldn't even check those out. You had to read them while you were there. So here I am doing all these radio shows, I couldn't even get any information. There was only about a dozen books that were respected in the industry, so we've come a long way. But we've gone to the other end. Now there's so much information, and now you have to research the research, because a lot of times it's not truthful. And the internet is a double-edged sword, because there's tons of information. I love being able to Google something when I really need it, but then I have to see if it's tied to something before I open my mouth and say something about it, see if it's real or if it just sounds too good to be true. Because when you're looking for an answer, you may be the only one in the world that is going in that direction, and you're totally wrong, but in your mind you think you're right. You can always find somebody to agree with you on the internet. So you really have to do your research. It's stores like this that make such a difference. The mom and pops, the brick and mortar stores where you have the passion of people that love what they do, they love interactions, they love taking the time to work with people and having you come back and tell them how great you're doing. And that's what this industry was done. This is how it was built. I started in mom and pops, and I have to tell you, we built this industry. It's not the big gigantic stores that are doing it. They all do their part. These brick and mortars where people can come in and have those one-on-one conversations, and really be able to make a difference. And I'll tell you what, there are so many times that I have learned so much from the customers and the stores that have come in and taught me things that I didn't know. So it's a two-way conversation. Everybody's perpetually learning, and we're all works in progress. And as much as I like to think that I know it all, I really don't. And I get that correction, that reality check every once in a while, and I have to realize that, well, I need to study a little bit more. When I went back to school, I thought that it would be a real breeze, and I did okay, don't get me wrong, but I tell you what, I got stumped quite a bit, and I was like, I either had to be reminded of something that I knew and I forgot, or I was learning it for the very first time and I didn't know why I didn't learn that along the way. So there's a lot to learn. One of my friends said to me one time, he goes, "It's a vitamin store." He goes, "That's easy." And I'm like, "Really?" There are thousands of bottles on the shelf, and there's so many nutrients. You have to be able to understand what they are, what they do, what they can do, what they can't do, who can use them, who can't use them. And I said, most people that have been doing it a long time, they may not know everything about a product, but most of them can look at the ingredients and say, okay, I know what this is for. I know what this is about. I said, do you have any idea how much it takes, and knowledge and dedication to be able to work in a place like this? It takes a lot. So I'm very, very grateful to the people that are carrying on the tradition of people that, started this industry and really kind of dug in. Any questions on anything yet? Regenerative? Yeah.
On the coffee one?
Yeah.
So you would just mix that with like 8 ounces of water?
You can put it in regular water. You can add it to coffee. I've done it in green tea.
And the heat, like, ruin it? Is
No.
it gonna ruin it?
The only thing you can't do with them is you can't boil them, but you can add them to something that's hot. A good example is I made a shrimp stir fry last week, and I had the wok out, dusting off everything these days, dusted off the wok, made this beautiful, and right as I was almost ready to serve it, I put in the golden milk bliss. And I added it and tossed it, and I had people, they were eating, it was wonderful, and it was hot food, but it wasn't hot food. So I just kind of added it to it. It was another delivery system, and it was absolutely delicious. So you can be really creative. And those French presses, some people like doing those as well, but you can also just throw it in yogurt.
Yeah.
You can also, I have people that throw the coffee one in chocolate pudding. This is the feedback I'm getting, or they put it in their oatmeal in the morning with some fruit. So you can be really creative. People don't realize that our coffee habits really are more sugar habits than anything else. And if you go to coffee places, most people are getting these frothy drinks and these things that are whipped and all that. And a lot of them they don't even realize are 900 to like 1,300 calories. And then you add this big bran muffin on top of it. So by the time you get to work, you're 2,000 calories in the hole. That you've already consumed and you haven't even started your day, and you didn't even think you really ate anything, but people wonder where their calories are coming from. This is a nice way to give you something that not only gives you adaptogens, but it also gives you some really good nutritional benefit, but it satisfies the palate at the same time, and the nose, because it's the smell. Yeah.
One more thing. forgot. I'll think of it.
And we have a memory formula coming out that I think will be quite beneficial for you as well. So, and that's another thing, we were talking briefly just before about mushrooms and how mushrooms have dramatically changed. Been educating on mushrooms for a long time, functional mushrooms. They used to say medicinal, but we call them functional now. There are many parts of the world that if you go to, many Asian countries, even some European countries, where functional mushrooms are part of the everyday routine. Many of them do shiitake and reishi, and they do chaga, and they do cordyceps, and on a regular basis, just part of their everyday routine. And people here are just starting to learn about functional mushrooms, but they're amazing. They can make such a dramatic difference, whether it's supporting an immune system, enhancing your body's recovery, giving you energy, athletes using cordyceps for energy and maintenance and recovery time. They're wonderful. The reason I think I like this is because there's 7 mushrooms in here and they're all together. So when people start, they don't know which one to start with. This is a great way to kind of introduce your body to 7 mushrooms at one time.
Can you go over some of the ingredients?
Sure. Turkey tail.
In which one?
All in here. Turkey tail, maitake, reishi, shiitake, lion's mane, of course, for the brain. That's getting a lot of popularity now. Those are your main mushrooms in there. Cordyceps. Cordyceps, most people are using it for stress and for energy. But I have learned that I do take some individual mushrooms separately. I have found personally that I think I like the blends because I think they enhance each other. They use the word synergism, but I think what they do is they lift each other up and they work together and they become more powerful. It's like a Marvel movie. When they're all in one movie, they all work together. If it's a stronger team, it's kind of the same thing with mushrooms. And it allows your body to just kind of start, adapting, because that's what these are. These are all adaptogens, helping our body deal with things more effectively and adapt to situations that otherwise we might not benefit from. But I think most people that are doing the 7 mushroom mocha are going to really enjoy it. It's got a wonderful smell, it's got a wonderful taste, and however you use it, whatever you decide to do with these, you're going to find your comfortable way and you're going to work on things that are important to you. And the Golden Milk Bliss is a great relaxant, it's a great calming, it's got wonderful turmeric in there, it's a beautiful, beautiful yellow color, you can see the color of it. It's quite beautiful, and you can drink it in warm almond milk. I've done it cold, I've done it in yogurt, I've made the bliss balls, we've put it in savory squares. It's the one I added to that stir fry. So you can be very flexible with these. Because a lot of us take a lot of capsules or tablets. This is a way to get a whole bunch of stuff down at one time. I just did a podcast a couple weeks ago on smoothies. Because I think smoothies are the kitchen sink of getting a lot of nutrients out of the way at one time that otherwise get stuck on the counter, the cabinet, or in the refrigerator that you forget about. Things like flax oil and fish oil and chia seeds and ground flax and all this stuff. People purchase them because they're so good, but they don't know how to use them. I say use a smoothie because a smoothie is a great way to put a whole bunch of stuff in. And a key with smoothies, always have a pad of paper and a pen in your kitchen. And as you're creating your smoothie, write down everything you're putting in. Mangoes, bananas, strawberries, whatever. And then if you really love it, you have a recipe that you can repeat again. Give it a name. Flip the page. If you drank it and you were like, that's so good, not tasty, throw that page away. But what you'll find is in a short period of time, you'll have 20, 30 good recipes, and you can repeat them without having to guess. Because you're like, well, this is how I did it this time, I'm going to do it the same way. I really liked it. So that's a really good way. Because with me, I'm a list maker. I love to make lists only because I like to check things off. And even if I have a list and I do something not on the list, I'll write it on the list just so I can check it off. Because I love to do that. So with me, a smoothie in the morning when I'm home, I get my flax oil, my fish oil, I get all that stuff out of the way. I throw my greens, I throw my 3 powders in there. I put everything I possibly can. I throw nuts and seeds and everything. So usually they're so thick I have to eat them with a spoon. But I got 20 things out of the way with just a smoothie. So I think they're going to be really convenient. And kids love them. Yeah.
Question I was going to ask earlier, is there any other companies in the industry that are regenerative like this company?
There's companies that are starting to follow regenerative measures. I think there's 4 or 5 companies now that are starting to branch off into doing regenerative. It's going to be huge.
Do y'all sell to anybody or
no?
Not yet. Okay.
No, we are a direct company right now. And this is very, very groundbreaking. This is brand new. These powders released about 5 weeks ago. And the new capsules, the veggie capsules, and the launch 1 and 2, or 2 and 3, are coming out Q1 of next year. And then the other ones are coming in the late fall of next year. So this is very, very new. And to be able to come out and talk about this so early, we just feel so blessed that we're able to do this and arrange this, because the advertising is going to be there. We just hired a company for next year that is going to allow and make guest spots for Rick Scalzo and myself on close to 100 podcasts next year. We're going to be guests on, plus my podcast, and we're doing those as well. It's called Honest Health, and it's amazing because I'm actually tapping all the people that I've worked with over the years, some of the best in the industry, these wonderful formulators and doctors and authors. I wanted a place and a platform where people could go and listen to the best of the best information and the most up-to-date information without being confused, without being overwhelmed, and knowing that the information, you could take it to the bank as being honest. And I think that's really, really important. So we're going to be, hitting a lot of those as well. Something that's really nice that I'm doing on my podcast coming up is Rick Scalzo is going to do a podcast. We're probably going to do more than one together, but we're going to do a series which started actually this month. It's going to be one herb a month that is grown on the ranch, the farm down in Costa Rica. We did turmeric this month. So if you listen to this podcast, by the end of it, you're going to have a full understanding of what herb, like this is turmeric. So the end, you're going to really understand turmeric. And then he's also going to teach you how growing it regeneratively makes it stronger and more potent. And then our next one's going to be ashwagandha. And we're going to go through bacopa and mucuna and all these things. So it's kind of like a 16, 17-month series where by the end of it, you're going to have a really good training on herbs, which is going to help everybody. It's going to help people in stores, it's going to help consumers, it's going to help people to have a better understanding, because sometimes when you hear about something, you may only hear one thing about it. Like everybody knows ashwagandha. Ashwagandha, people are taking it for stress. But did you know that it's great hormonally for men and women? Did you know that it's great for helping to release testosterone for men? Did you know that it also helps you sleep? It helps you unwind, it helps with irritation, it helps with edginess. It does a lot of things. It also helps to lift your mood and just kind of make you feel better. You can take it during the day, it doesn't make you tired, but it kind of puts you kind of in chill mode. So these are things I want people to know. I want you to know everything about them, and that's what that series is going to do. Because to me, it's all about information. It's all about education. It's all about knowing everything that's available. Not everybody wants to take the time to read a book. Not everybody wants to take the time, or they don't have the time to take a class. This is something you can listen to. It was interesting. I was at the club a while back, and there was somebody on the treadmill next to me listening to a podcast, and I looked over and it was my face on her podcast, and I was laughing. So I'm like already ready to stop, and I'm like, well, no, I need to stay on it long enough. I got to stay on it until she's done so I can talk to her. So I'm like, oh God, I'm dying here on this treadmill. So finally she ended, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. So we kind of went off, and I said, good workout. She goes, it was really good. Oh, hi. And it was just kind of fun, because here's a great place to listen. I know people love to listen in the car. They love to listen when they're sitting around. My age over the years and how we aged on radio, it was like you had to be there at that time, sitting in front of the radio. It was a certain time slot. And if you missed it, you missed the show. With podcasting, you can do it anytime. And I think that's what's wonderful about it. You set the pace for when you want to learn and when you want to listen. Yeah.
I have 2 questions. Are all the ingredients in these sourced at your farm?
Yes.
All of them?
Yes.
And saffron on the horizon at all? Can't
Possibly.
find good saffron
Possibly.
anywhere.
I don't know if it's possible to fully give you 100% regenerative saffron. I know you can get it organic, get it done organically, but I think it's one of those ones that's sitting on the fence. It's been tossed around. I don't know where it's falling. But like I said, if there's a way of growing a beautiful, healthy crop that is really something that people really need, I think we're going to do that. Something that has come up is passion flower has gotten really, really popular and repopular again. It was popular years ago. So they just grew a humongous batch of absolutely gorgeous passion flower. And I asked Rick, I said, can we please get this in a rock single? Because sometimes people want something to relax a little bit, but they don't want something to knock them out. They want something to just kind of bring the shoulders down a little bit and give you a little bit of better focus and being able to kind of relax and deal with things a little better. We're all stressed. We've all got a lot on our plate. No matter how good people have it, they're stressed out too. You know, so, but passion flower, so I'm pretty sure we're coming out with a rock single passion flower. Because it's going to be in the sleep formula and some of the other, for the stress formulas, things like that. But I wanted to have a single one that I could just say passion flower. You know, because I think when people try passion flower, they're going to love it. And if it's regenerative, they're going to really feel the difference. So I think that's really a good thing. Good question, thank you. Anybody else? Oh, come on, guys.
About more the ingredients in each one. Can you tell us more about that?
About, sorry?
The ingredients in each
Sure.
one.
Let me put my eyes on. So this right here is the KoKora lift. This is the coffee. In this one, dandelion root, chicory, which gives it the coffee flavor. We also have ashwagandha, roasted mucuna, cacao bean, chaga mushroom, cordyceps mushroom, reishi mushroom, cinnamon, and cardamom. So this is a very well-packed formula. You know, people, I think that what they're going to notice is just the way that it makes them feel.
Any questions about the ingredients in that one? Like why or anything?
Just remember, when you're looking at a theme like coffee, we want things that are going to make the body feel like a little bit better, a little bit more energized, a little bit more balanced. The nice thing about the mushrooms is cordyceps is used a lot by athletes because it helps them recover. So you don't want just something that just stimulates the body. You want something that gives you a little bit of energy with cordyceps, but at the same time, you also want something that keeps your mood balanced. Cinnamon comes in because cinnamon is great for blood sugar. And it's also really good for helping to control the appetite for sweets for many people, especially for diabetics. You've got chicory in here, but mostly for flavor. Dandelion is great for the urinary tract and the bladder, but it's also good for helping to kind of flush impurities out of the body. People know that when you drink coffee, you have a tendency to usually evacuate both urine and bowel after. A lot of people that drink a lot of coffee, say in the morning, they have their coffee and then they visit the restroom. You know, so that's there to support that. Chaga is an amazing mushroom for the immune system. Chaga is, I think, one of my favorite mushrooms because I think people don't really know the full power of chaga. Chaga is wonderful recovery. It's great for stress. It's great for nerves. It's great for the immune system. It does so many wonderful things. And when you start mixing these together, so let's say you're mixing reishi and chaga, you've got this huge defense mechanism for your body. It's that synergism again. They're working together, it becomes stronger. So yes, this is a coffee kind of drink with no caffeine. And yes, it's going to be something that's going to satisfy your morning cravings, but you're also nutritionally balancing your body right from the first time in the morning. You know, so you're doing something nutritional rather than just drinking a cup of coffee and getting your little jolt in the morning and then just moving on with your day. Good question.
Is it possible to have too much of this?
I don't think so.
No.
I think that you would get to the point where you might get an upset stomach if you took too much, or you just would go into waste mode. Because, you know, it's with some things over the years, people think 1 is good and 5 is better. And they end up just going through it 5 times faster, but they weren't getting any more benefit. They were just kind of going through the motions because some people think that in their case they can take more, they need more than everybody else. Sometimes low and slow is the way to go, because sometimes listening to your body. A good example would be when CBD came out. When CBD first came out, people thought you had to take huge amount of dosages, but most people responded better to a very low dose and then progressively work their ways up. I have a friend that's a professional power lifter, and he can handle about 30 milligrams of CBD. And after that, he got very tired. This guy's 300 pounds made of iron and cement. I mean, he's just an ox. His wife is a triathlete that weighs about 99 pounds. She was taking 300 milligrams. That's what she needed for her endocannabinoid system, because we're all different. You can't and shouldn't and never should allow everybody to put everybody in the same box. Everybody responds differently. And we have to listen to our bodies, but most people don't listen. You know, so we need to keep in mind. Now, Adapt and Thrive, this is probably one of our favorites. This is ashwagandha, which is, of course, amazing. Rhodiola for stress and for nerves and for balance. Roasted mucuna seed, which is wonderful for both stress and balance. And also, it's great for your skin. It's great for your digestive system. Cacao bean. Maca root. Maca is a wonderful adaptogen. It's a wonderful hormonal balancer. It's great for energy. It works just as well for women as it does for men. And it works on a lot of things, on women premenstrual and menopausal, but men, it just balances out their mood, it helps them with energy, it helps with libido, so it has some wonderful benefits. cordyceps, cardamom, monk fruit, and ginger. We know ginger is a wonderful circulatory enhancer. It's great for circulation, great for digestion, great for the gut. So this is a product that I would recommend to somebody that wanted to have more energy during the day. They were stressful, because it'll tell you right on here, this is giving you 2,300 milligrams of adaptogen power per serving. That's a lot of adaptogens. And great for energy and stress resilience. Now people say, can I do it a couple times a day? Yeah, you can. If you wake up gritting your teeth stressed in the morning, do it then. If your afternoon is a very stressful time, do it then. So very, very good product. The Golden Milk Bliss, they call this Relax and Restore. This can be used for stress, it can be used to unwind, it can be used during the day. Sometimes people drink it in the afternoon. I'm hearing people telling me, they're writing me and saying, you know, my afternoon is the most stressful time. I'm having a warm cup of this in the afternoon. I'm very productive, but I'm also even. This one has got turmeric and ashwagandha and cardamom. It's got holy basil in here, which is extremely effective. Ginger, monk fruit, vanilla bean, reishi, and then black pepper. There's a lot of controversy with black pepper. I'm on the one of the advocates that black pepper enhances the absorbability of turmeric. I have friends that have been to India and studied with a lot of the shaman that are over there, and when they're working on turmeric or curcumin, which is a huge part of their diet, they will tell you as a supplement to mix it with ghee or with coconut oil to have the fat carrier, and also mix it with black pepper because that makes it work more effectively. Some people think it doesn't. I think it does. So when I have people that are doing this, if they're mixing it, I say, if you have any coconut oil, throw a spoon of that in there too. Because that fat with the black pepper and the turmeric, this will give people a lot of relief. A lot of people use turmeric for inflammation. They use it for soreness of the joints, and their bodies are just out of whack and very sore. So this would be good for that as well. Let me see. Immune power. Well, we all know what this is for. Rhodiola, ashwagandha, maca, astragalus, cordyceps, ginger, monk fruit, chaga, reishi. So you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4 mushrooms in here with balancing things like rhodiola. These are all things that protect your body and help your body work just a little bit more effectively and let your body heal better, let your body recover a little faster, and make our bodies a little bit more tuned up. They say that we can usually handle anything that comes at us. But I think the problem is our bodies are so run down that little simple things are taking us down. You know, and then we think we have to overstimulate the body. We don't, we just have to give it tools to work with. So I'm using this one every day because I'm on the road so much. Different places, different people, different air, different climates, different food, different hotels. You know, so you can't control that, but you can control your body and keep it a little bit stronger. And then of course the mushroom, this is probably the favorite. It's doing so well. Cacao and coconut milk, that gives it the creaminess. Turkey tail, mucuna seed, reishi, lion's mane, shiitake, maitake, chaga, cordyceps, ginger, and monk fruit. This is loaded, 7 beautiful mushrooms in there. I think if someone wanted to do something for their immunity, I would go with these two together. If someone wanted to just build their body and be stronger, I would say the mushroom and the Adapt and Thrive. I think if somebody wanted to work on a little bit of like inflammation in the body, I would probably say the golden milk and the reishi that's in here, the mushroom. I think that would do really, really well. You can't go wrong, you know, but like I said, they're going to recommend like 2 teaspoons. The mushrooms, they recommend 3 teaspoons. You can do the full serving size. You can also take less. Listen to your body and see how your body does with it. But I think that what's really fun is, I'll go ahead and I'll hand these out if you guys want to pass them around and maybe do a smell test, which I think is great. This is the Adapt and Thrive. And like I said, if you smell something, you can usually taste it. So they're quite nice. This one here is the 7 mushroom mocha. It's got kind of a cacao, kind of chocolate kind of smell to it, smell and taste. And they're doing really, really well. This one is the immune power. This one is the roasted KoKora lift, or the natural kind of alternative to coffee. And then the last one is the golden milk, and you'll smell the turmeric in here and the ginger. There you go. But I've learned that if you smell things, you can really kind of figure out how they're going to taste. You know, we don't use our noses like as much as we should, but we should. So I think that that's going to do really well for you.
We're going to keep telling you.
They're kind of nice, aren't they?
Yeah, they
You know, I think they're going to do really well. We're hearing great results,
Yeah.
and the feedback has been incredible. I think a lot of us are looking for, like I said, we're looking for a magic wand, but I think what we're also looking for is a way to do something that makes a difference that we can feel. I mean, I want to feel something. I know that a lot of things we take we may never feel, you know, because we're preparing our body for things down the road. But isn't it nice if you can take something that you can actually feel a difference? So what are the favorite ones out there? Which one do you like the best?
The mocha one smells like you could eat it right now.
Well, that could be many of them.
Yeah.
I like the mushroom one myself, is my favorite. But the Adapt and Thrive, when we were, my last one of the shows we had just done, we did a grouping of little shaker bottles, and I did almond milk, and I just, really vanilla almond milk, that's all I did, with a little ice, and shook it up and just poured it in a cup, and people are like, why doesn't this taste bad? I said, well, it doesn't have to taste that. My grandmother raised us that if it tasted good, it didn't work.
Yeah.
If it tasted
Yeah.
terrible, it
Yeah.
would work better. That's the way we were taught when we were kids, because she was out picking dandelions in the yard and brewing up herbs. That's where I started with this, because that was the way that she did things back then. It's not supposed to taste good. You know, cod liver oil off the spoon, you know. You know the funny thing? As much as I hate it, I still take it every day these days. She ruined my brain along the way. So any more questions on these? What are you thinking? Do you like the way that they look? And
I think they're fantastic.
I do too.
I'm so excited.
I think they're going to do really well, and I think people are going to definitely feel a difference. And I think we're going to be able to do some really wonderful things here. Hey, Trip, would you go out to the car? 2, 3,
So,
and get me a couple more of these. I want to give everybody one. These are our KoKora water bottles, and this will be my gift for you guys for coming tonight.
Wow. Are we allowed to buy the coffees today? Or?
Yeah, these are all for sale.
Awesome. How much are they?
and 25% off.
Wow.
I've got 2 more
For you
coming.
guys
Okay.
tonight.
How much are they run? Or they vary?
36 and 37.
They're right in that range. And like I said, we'll be doing demos. Coupons are on their way, so that we'll be able to do some coupons eventually. And like I said, I think you're going to do really well. And you know, if it's 30 servings, and let's say you're doing the 1 teaspoon, you're going to get a 2-month supply of it. And you may say, you know what, I like the 1, but I really like the way I felt with 2 teaspoons, the full serving. You can do that. One of the other companies I was with before, some of their serving sizes were like 3 or 4 or 6 a day, which is fine. And I should tell people, look, the serving size on the bottle gives you a clinical dose. If you're looking for that clinical dose, do what's recommended. You know, give you the strongest of everything. But you may find that you respond well to 3 or 2. So, like I said, experiment, listen to your body. Your body will talk to you. Actually, our bodies yell at us.
Yeah.
You know, we just have to listen to them a little bit more. Question? Okay. Any other questions? Yeah.
Why the choice of Costa Rica for your farmland?
Well, you know, he had the chance to go down there. He fell in love with it. He knows that the soil is amazing. He knows that we get 9 months of rain down there. It's a lot easier to keep moisture in the soil.
What part of Costa Rica?
Southern.
Are you doing psychedelics too?
I'm sorry?
Psychedelics? Are you
No,
doing there?
no, not at all.
Like Pacific or Atlanta?
Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to be, oh, thank you. We need a couple more over here. Yes?
What herbs can you grow at home in your backyard?
Probably a lot more than you think.
I didn't
I think most people that are growing herbs, I think some of the best herbs to grow are things like more culinary herbs. You know, things like basil and dill and rosemary and garlic and onion and those things. I usually tell people if you're just starting to grow herbs, grow things that you can cook with. Because first of all, you know what they're made of, you know what they're from, you know they have no garbage and fillers and chemicals on them. But you can do those just in the window in your kitchen. And it's really funny, well, somebody told me the other day, they said they cut their lettuce, their celery, right to the very, very bottom, and they use the celery, and they put the bottom of the celery in the dirt, and they grow new celery.
Yes.
So it's amazing you could do some of these. And garlic grow. I have a friend that when he grows the strawberries every year, he will take the one strawberry, and he has to wear glasses in this, he takes those little seeds off the strawberry because they grow on the outside, and he'll put them in paper towels with water, and he'll start like 20, 30 strawberry plants. So you can do this. It takes a little bit of time, but there's something about growing when it breaks the surface. It's like avocados. You take an avocado seed, you crack it, you put it on toothpicks, you put it in water, you can grow an avocado tree. Same thing happens with lemons. You can grow lemon trees as well. Pineapples, absolutely. But I would say the first thing to do is to look at the culinary kind of things, you know, and grow some of those. Because those are fun. You could do those in a window, you can do them on a balcony.
They're really good in your smoothies also.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for, you know, letting us come in and chat with you this evening, and thank you for being so receptive, and it's good feedback for us. Like I said, we are brand new out here with all this, and a lot of amazing things that are coming your way very, very soon. So thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
I'm going to give you a punch card that we started. It's for seminars, and when you come to 6, we'll give you a $20 gift certificate.
Wow.
So,
Even me?
yep, even you.
They run between 35 and 37.99,
Thank you.
somewhere in that range.
Gotta come to
And they're
all
on
of
special tonight. He's doing a 25% off discount tonight.
Oh, there you go, yes.
Thank
That's the
you.
Adapt and Thrive.
That's totally awesome.
This one, the Adapt and Thrive. Because you get the stress
There you go,
balance, but you
Ryan.
also get the
Young
energy
twenty.
boost at the
I'll
same
give you
time.
this one back.
Like, and it's going to help you pretty quick.
I think that'll be Adapt and
I'm
Thrive.
on everything else.
I think you're going to notice it very quickly because we're not used to
Yes,
getting
here.
a lot of good
Oh, sorry,
potency
sweeties.
that's
Give me that one. Wait, give me
absorbable. It may look really good on the label and in the bottle, but if you can't digest it,
You just started.
and you don't, you're